Hey, are you a person who experiences menstrual bleeding, or do you just have a leaky tap? Maybe you know someone who does. My name is Sheikh Sumaya, and I'm here to propose a business idea. Here I have are the cannabis-made pads, or Cannapads. On the agenda today, I will be discussing who I am, what cannabis is, and the license and regulations that go behind doing this, how I would grow my own hemp if I had this business, how I would harvest it, and what the final product and takeaway is. I go by Sumaya, and I am a student at Erie Community College, and I am studying social science. And I am currently under a micro-credential program in cannabis science. This video is for educational purposes only. Cannabis. You can eat it, you can smoke it, you can even make it into clothes and other textiles. Cannabis sativa, the multi-purpose plant. The cannabis plant belongs to the Cannabaceae plant family. Cannabaceae comes from the Rosales order. This plant family includes plants such as hops and hackberries. The cannabis sativa species is dioecious, meaning that the plants can be either male or female. In the wild, it is known that there are plants of the cannabis family that have both parts, so they're monoecious. These plants contain different amounts of THC and CBD amongst other chemical constituents known as cannabinoids. This varies depending on the breed of the cannabis plant. THC is short for tetrahydrocannabinol and CBD is cannabidiol. Say it with me now. THC gets you high and CBD is calming. The reason why I say that cannabis sativa is a multi-purpose plant is because 1. You can eat it. For example, hemp hearts, which are seeds that are high in fiber and fatty acids. 2. You can make cooking oil from its seeds. 3. You can decarboxylize it, the flower, to either smoke it or ingest it for recreational and medicinal purposes. 4. You can use the fibers of the plant to create textiles and clothes, plus many other uses for the plant. Stay with me now. What I would like to do is use hemp to create cotton-like material that is absorbent enough for pads. Fun fact, hemp and cannabis are the same plant essentially, but they have different levels of THC. Can you take a guess which plant is which? Legally, hemp must have a total THC concentration equal to or less than 0.3 on a dry weight basis. This is according to the DEA. However, it is important to mention that cannabis is still listed as a Schedule I drug by the DEA, or Drug Enforcement Administration. I live in New York State, so everything in this video pertains to New York State. According to the Office of Cannabis Management here, the adult use cultivator license authorizes its holder to cultivate and sell cannabis from the licensed premises of the adult use cultivator to a duly licensed processor, microbusiness authorized to process cannabis, cooperative or collective, registered organization with dispensing, ROD, registered organization non-dispensing, ROND, or a cannabis research licensee in New York State. So, what does this mean? This means that in order to grow cannabis, which is different than hemp, you need a license to grow and sell the plant to processors and businesses. You must also register to dispense or distribute cannabis as well as do research on it. For me, I want to grow hemp. So in order for me to do this, I have to get a hemp license from the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets. There are different licenses, like for commercial and research. Cultivation. Strategies in growing hemp. From hemp seed to plant. It is important to pick a seed that best suits your needs. There are a different variety of seeds called cultivars available for purchase. Be intentional about when you begin farming. Hemp seedlings require some cold temperature and darkness in order to begin germination. This phase is called dormancy. The way I would go about cultivating hemp is to do it outdoors. The reasoning behind this is because when you are growing a plant such as hemp, you want to be able to control as many of the independent variables, like factors within a system that affect other factors. But in order to go about this, it can be very expensive. So I want to cut down on costs. So if I'm doing it outside, there would be little to no cost for sunlight, wind, and rain. You don't have to pay for rain. Ideally, this outdoor farm would be somewhere that gets about 12 or more hours of sunshine, so I would have to take that into consideration. However, there are cons. I may have to spend a lot of money for watering the hemp plants because of the high temperature from the sun. You want to make sure that there's not too much of something because it can really mess up the whole system that you have going. Another issue with outdoor farming is that there can be predators such as animals that may eat the hemp and a high chance of pest infestations like the Japanese beetle. Preventing or removing pests is feasible and doable as long as you catch it in the early stages. There are home remedies as well as store-bought pest treatment. I wanted to show you guys a picture of a Japanese beetle on a cannabis plant. These little buggers can be found in like east of the Mississippi and west, so I don't know, it's like kind of everywhere. So watch out for those. If I had my own cannabis/hemp business, I would harvest my hemp plants by hand and cut down the stalks. The cut hemp would be hung up to dry with enough airway flow in between the plants to prevent mold from growing. I need control over the humidity of the drying room as well because that can also cause mold to grow. In order to make material for the absorption for the pads, I must separate the hemp fibers from the stalk. There are different ways to do this, and my preferred method would be using a decorticator or a specialized machine for hemp. The reason behind why I would use a machine such as a decorticator because it saves time and gives consistent results. Textile factory magic. Then, after processing the hemp, separating the fibers from the stalks, and having like a whole bunch of hemp fibers, I would then take it to the textile factory to be engineered into menstrual pads. The impact of hemp on health. My mission goal is to create a sustainable and clean product for menstrual health. Through the use of organic materials such as hemp fibers to create hemp pads, I would like to bring people closer to their communities and nature. Traditional pads that most people use are made from plastics and questionable chemicals. With hemp-made pads, they decompose naturally and do not take up space in landfills. People and plants live together, so why don't we implement that into our daily lives? Choose Cannapads. I canna do it. Thank you for watching this video. Shout out to my professor and shout out to all the hemps. Here is where I got all my information from. Feel free to fact check it. Thank you.